No one. I have a friend who had been following and working for a group that is from the book A Course in Miracles. Originally, I chalked it up to more of a positive postulates or the secret kind of thing. Have you looked into this? Is it a destructive cult? Hey, thanks for asking about this. And I did finally look into it, and I don't see that this is a destructive cult or the textbook or manual for a destructive cult. Although, of course, that could happen with this book. Okay, so here's how this breaks down: is a woman named Helen Schuckman. Woman named Helen Schuckman in 1976 ended up publishing this book called A Course in Miracles. And there's some interesting backstory to it. But the bottom line is it's a book that she and a partner wrote. And again, this is back in 1976. I'm just looking it up here. And it has to do with spiritual transformation. It's not about the secret so much, or although I'm sure positive thinking is part of this whole thing, but it has to do with a spiritual philosophy that's sort of neo-Gnostic in nature. And it has to, that we are all really at the bottom of the fundamental of all of life. We are all one life, which is God. Is kind of what I got from reading about this. I didn't read the book, of course, but I read about the book. And this is the kind of thing that comes up. And it was apparently this woman, Helen, said or claimed that she was channeling Jesus when she wrote it. And it took her a long time. It took years to get the whole thing written out. She would bring, the transcript or whatever in with her partner. They'd go over it, edit it, etc. And it ended up being this book or this course that consisted of 3 sections. There's the text, and then there's the workbook for students, and then there's a manual for teachers. And it was written from 1965 to 1972. And here's the thing about this. It's been variously promoted on Oprah. Marianne Williamson talked about it, and then they sold 2 million volumes because thank you, Oprah. That's really what America needed. And it's called Everything from New Age Psychobabble to a Satanic Seduction to the New Age Bible. And I don't know that it's, New Age psychobabble, kind of. It's not so much psychobabble as it is spiritual babble, but it's just a belief system. It's a belief idea about God and our relationship to God. And if you want to follow that, well, it's, you're perfectly free to do so. It's just a belief set. I couldn't find, getting past the belief set itself, which is not what would make it a cult anyway, but just to kind of explain what the whole thing's about, I could not find evidence in looking into this of any mainline group or group of leaders or leader who are, doing some kind of cultic movement with this. What I see from the research I did is a bunch of different groups interpreting the material however they want. The books themselves are not even the copyright. It's in public domain. Anybody can take A Course in Miracles as a book and expound on it, and people have. That Marianne Williamson has, and various other authors and spiritual leaders have taken this book and run with it. So you have a lot of different flavors and brands of A Course in Miracles. Everybody who does it or reads it can interpret it their own way. And the satanic aspect of this is certain religious groups, of course, have looked at this and said, well, this is not what our scriptures say, so therefore this is bad. And this idea that we're all one with God and, this kind of thing is heretical to our beliefs, where it's, where dualism and the God, follower relationship is very clearly established, and we're not just all one big happy being. And this kind of stuff that we have to somehow realize, that's the problem. So anyway, you can check it out and read about it. There's a lot to know about it, but that's what I saw in going down the line on this. Now, having said that, if you were to find some group out there that was focused on this as their dogma and the leader was being abusive and was taking advantage of his followers, well, there's your standard cult model. So could you use this material to set up a destructive cult? easily. So has somebody done that? Probably, but I couldn't particularly find evidence of any one group that was using this as a focused activity and ripping people off of money or taking advantage of them for sex or power or whatever, et cetera, and all the check boxes we talk about. So that's my take on that.